Welcome back to school. I hope everybody had a great spring break and is ready to get back to work. I worked in my garden over the break, so today I'm Farmer Stephen. Full disclosure, this is not my cornfield, but it is an illusion. I've started a new Padlet for everybody to post pics from spring break, so share something interesting you did over the break and let the rest of us enjoy your experience vicariously. I've got a link on the Google Classroom. Now, over the next few weeks, I'm going to lead you step by step through this writing process. And if you put some effort in and pay attention to what I'm teaching you, you will be a better writer and therefore a better thinker when we're done. Today, we're going to begin writing the first paragraph for our research essay, the introduction. I'll be spending the next few days reviewing your outlines or webs, making sure that you're using the thesis sentence that we discussed, and checking out the topic sentences for your support paragraphs to make sure that they specifically support the thesis sentence and that they are written appropriately. Don't even start writing the introduction until I'm able to give you feedback on your outline or web, so we don't waste any time. I'm giving everybody until Friday to turn in the introductory paragraphs, so even if you don't get your outline evaluation for a couple of days, you should still have plenty of time. Introductions are short, easy, and for you, already partly written. I'll also be making calls to the homes of the students who haven't kept up with the pre-writing to see if I can get everybody caught up, if there's anything I can do. I will not be posting lessons every day since this assignment is not due until the end of the week, but I will be available every day during my office hours from 10 o'clock a.m. to 12 o'clock p.m., and often before and after those hours. I'll be at the computer anyway. Please contact me via Google Hangouts if you have any questions or need a conference. So, okay, let's get started. If you recall from our discussion of the rubric for the introduction paragraph, it is composed of three main parts. Basically, you want to accomplish three things in your introduction. You want to hook your reader, you want to give a sneak peek at the organization of the paper, and you want to state your thesis, which is the assertion that you're writing the paper to prove. Now, this is a very simple introduction, and it is not the only way, or even always the best way, to introduce a paper. But it serves our purposes here and is simple and to the point. Now, the final sentence, the thesis sentence, has already been written. We worked them out in our individual conferences. We just need to write a hook sentence and a transition sentence, which in this case will be a short outline of our support paragraphs. I'm starting with a blank, well, I started with a blank Google Doc. I've since filled in a lot of it. It's already formatted, though, for MLA, Times New Roman 12 font, double spaced, page number, last name up in the top right in the header. On the first page, student name, teacher name, course name, date, and then the title centered. I've decided to write my example paper on a topic that is close to my heart, arts in the schools, and my assertion, since I have to express an opinion about the arts that I can then prove is correct in my paper, is that there are benefits of including arts programs in the schools. My title will therefore be The Benefits of Arts in Public Schools. Remember to copy that title up here to the file name box so you can find it again, and make sure that you put it in your drive. I'm going to save this. I'm going to actually move it to my file for research paper stuff, and you will probably want to move it somewhere where you can find it again as well, so you don't have to go searching for it every time. Okay, hooks. There are several good ways to hook your reader. And it seems that everybody who went to Manio Middle School loves to start their essays with a rhetorical question. Don't do that. It is rarely a good hook. Some more interesting ways to hook potential readers are anecdotes, which are just short, interesting stories, alarming statistics, strange factoids, or pithy quotes. Now, I love to tell a story, and I love to hear a good story. So I usually prefer to start papers with an anecdote. It's a good hook. Everybody likes a good story, but I couldn't find one. So next, I tried Googling quotes about arts education. Now, I said, and I mean, I want you to do most of your research in the Gale database through NC WiseOwl, but for a quote, Google will do. I spent a half hour going through several of these quotes pages, but I won't recreate that process for you. That's the nitty gritty of research, and I do want you to do it. And I'll probably model that some more once we get to the support paragraphs, but to save time to make this shorter, I won't recreate that. Instead, I'll just show you the quote I found. I looked through, and this one right here. What I want is something that establishes that STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, and core classes are not enough, that arts education has real world value. And this quote from GE President Clifford Smith is perfect. We want young people who can do more than add up a string of numbers and write a coherent sentence. They must be able to solve problems, communicate ideas, and be sensitive to the world around them. Participation in the arts is one of the best ways to develop these abilities. That pretty much establishes that there is real world value. Now, I don't want to start the paper with a quote from somebody else. I want to introduce it briefly to establish its significance. And let me take you back to my paper. What I can do is actually kind of trim that quote a little bit. You don't want long quotes. 3 lines is about all you want, especially in the introduction, the short introduction. But I can introduce it. These are my words. In recent decades, public education has stressed science, technology, engineering, and math, STEM, and other core classes over music, visual art, theater, and dance. The belief seems to be that the former are useful and necessary, while the latter are somehow frivolous, lightweight classes with no real-world value. As GE President Clifford V. Smith once stated, however, he wants employees, quote, who can do more than add up a string of numbers and write a coherent sentence. They must be able to solve problems, communicate ideas, and be sensitive to the world around them. Participation in the arts is one of the best ways to develop these abilities. Okay, this next part I do want to go through with you and show you. To give credit for that, I'll go up to add-ons and get EasyBib. There it is. Manage bibliography. Pulls it up. Then I want to go back to the quote page, copy the URL, go back to the paper, click on website because this is a website, enter the website URL, search, and quotes in support of the arts. Yeah, that's it. Select. Okay. Now, that is my website. I just add bibliography to the doc. Now, the only bad thing about it is it doesn't put it on a separate page. So I want to file. No, I'm sorry. On docs, it's insert, break, page break, and take this down to its own page. Now, the other thing, I do have an author, so I want to give credit. It's Clifford V. Smith. So on the left margin, Smith, comma, Clifford, what was it, V, period, and space. What was V, wasn't it? Yeah. All right, so there's my first source entry for my Works Cited page. Normally, what I would do is space, open parentheses, Smith, close parentheses, and then period. But, oh, what happened to my double spacing? Anyway, I'll fix that. But since I mentioned his name up here, I don't have to do that. So get rid of that. See why my double spacing went away. There we go. Okay. You notice I did shorten it a little bit. I took off the beginning, and here I didn't have to put a comma because I was tricky. In order to make it shorter, I took off the first few words and just made it flow right into the sentence I was writing. He stated he wants employees who can do more than add up a string of numbers. So I was able to kill two birds with one stone there. It reduces the punctuation and shortens the quote. So I did give credit, though, to the website I got it. All right. That's actually a pretty decent hook. I think that would pull somebody in. It does establish, too, the idea that I want that there is value in arts education for workers. Again, it's several sentences, not just one. That's fine. I need to explain why the quote was so relevant in my own words. And by the way, that's what the analysis sentences do in the support paragraphs. We'll get into that more later. All right, next I want to transition to my thesis sentence. And there's several ways to do this, but the simplest, if not the most imaginative, is an outline transition. And for most of your classes in college, this will be adequate. In other words, I'm going to lay out my three support paragraphs, briefly summarizing them in one sentence. Y'all already have this done because I went through it with you, but I'm kind of doing it as I'm going because this is a new paper, new idea. So I need three supports. So doing a general Google search again on the benefits of public school arts education. And for this, just general initial research, that's fine. Most of it, I want you to do in the Gale database. But it led me to this web page. Just tell me what some benefits are. Just to get ideas, I scroll down. Okay, academic benefits, there's one. Behavioral benefits, there's two. Improved attendance, 95. That doesn't look it doesn't look like there's going to be a whole lot of stuff on that. Benefits for low socioeconomic students, but long-term academic, occupational, social outcomes. I might be able to use that. Okay, so those will be my three. I'm not sure about that last one. It doesn't really fit that well, but I'll start with it, and I can adapt if I need to. So my transition, going back to the paper, is indeed, students benefit academically and behaviorally from arts education in public schools, and students with low socioeconomic status are helped especially by arts programs. All right, that's simple to the point. You really don't have to think about it. If you've got your three supports, you just kind of need to sum them up. So the hook is the only thing you really need to think about here. The transition, very easy. It just touches on the three supports I'm going to explore, gives a kind of sneak peek, but not going into any detail. And the last part of the introduction is the thesis sentence, which you already have. So you would just copy and paste it onto the paper. But make sure you paste without formatting so your font doesn't change. Mine is a simple assertion that sets up a basic persuasive essay. Arts programs in public schools benefit students in several ways. You notice I did not list the ways. I already mentioned them in my transition sentence. And it's not necessarily wrong to do that. I noticed a lot of y'all did, but you don't need to. And it just makes the thesis sentence longer, more convoluted, harder to understand. Simple, clean, concise, clear in writing is almost always the best. Okay. Now, notice I'm expressing an opinion about the arts programs, that they are beneficial, and not just describing the arts programs available. That would be an informative, descriptive essay. We are writing a persuasive essay. So your thesis sentence has to express an opinion about something. Even if it's that something has, one cause has several effects or one problem has several solutions, that's still expressing an opinion about an idea. Now, I will spend the rest of this paper persuading my readers that this opinion that I've just expressed, this assertion that I've made, is correct, that it is supported by statistics, examples, statements from experts, And that will be done in the support paragraphs. However, we won't start those until next week, so just a preview there, no spoiler. You have the rest of this week to write the introduction and turn it into the assignment created on Google Classroom by Friday, April 24th. Now, contact me on Google Hangouts if you need a conference to figure out wording, or if you want to run your ideas by me. I'll be happy to help you. In the meantime, stay safe.